Hi, everybody. It's Veronica of Veronica Events and the editor of the Wedding Planner Lifestyle magazine. Today is Wednesday, Wed Education Wednesday, and I am coming to you live. This video after will be posted to our YouTube channel, which is the Wedding Planner Lifestyle magazine show. So you can definitely check it out there. I would love for you to subscribe and share and tell your friends all about it. The whole premise of this show or channel is to share tips and tricks. Also, if you would like to collaborate on sharing your information in your business with us and with our viewers, that is also welcome. So if you're in the business and you have a service or a product that you would like the public or the audience to see, you are welcome to partner with us, collaborate with us, have a conversation on Wedding Wednesday. It is open, so the invitation is open if you choose to do so. And today, hello everyone. Let me get my glasses on. How is everybody doing? I hope you're doing well, healthy, wealthy, and wiser as you go. God bless everyone. Thank you so much. And let me see who is there. Of course, I need my glasses. We have Caribbean Wedding Community. Welcome. Island Dream Tours. Welcome. Blue Peacock. Welcome. I am Jamaica. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Those that I am quite familiar with and those that I'm not. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining. Today's topic is exactly how much to tip the wedding vendors. And of course, I know being what would be considered a wedding vendor, that is important not only to myself, but my colleagues in the business. And I thought that I'd like to dedicate within the next 15 to 20 minutes how much is appropriate, be it percentage or in dollars. And if you have much respect to you, my dear, God bless you. Thank you for joining. And I'm sure you have thoughts, you may have information that you'd like to share. I would love, 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 love for you to comment because, again, it's important. We are vendors in this business. We are people in service to our clients. And we would love when our clients or the guests are tipping, you know exactly what is appropriate and what is not appropriate. Sometimes people would actually ask you, like, how much should I tip or what is appropriate? So I would like to touch on that today. And again, there's no hard and fast rules. You can certainly decide on a percentage within the industry, the boundaries of the industry. If you're not familiar with how much, I would strongly suggest that you ask. There's a lot of vacancies and companies available that you can certainly research it online. You can Google that if you'd like to find out. But today we are talking exactly how much to tip your wedding vendors. We usually don't talk about our wedding vendors a lot in this industry, and I think it's important that we spotlight them and share some information as what is considered appropriate. So I'm going to get started. Like I said, there's tons of information you can find online. However, if you're still not sure what is 360 booth, thank you for joining. Hi guys. Hope you guys are doing okay. Like I said, today, it is all about wedding vendors, and we should get started. Now, figuring out how much, and I have made some notes, figuring out how much to tip a wedding pro is very tricky. It can be tricky because it's also important to tip a wedding vendor because you're showing appreciation for the service provided or the work delivered. So it's important. So avoid like scrambling on the day. We recommend that you create cash tips in an envelope. You provide that to hi CJCH in 26. who has always supported me. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, all the way from Mexico. Thank you for the love. Mwah. I'm blowing you kisses, smooches, honey. Thank you so much. I haven't seen you in a while since I think 2017, if I'm correct. So thank you so much for your support on Instagram. Thank you so much for joining me here today live. And again, I'm speaking about exactly how much we should be, or what is appropriate to tip one of our wedding vendors. No. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, it's advised that you prepare envelopes with the money or the tip within the envelope, provide it to your planner, and your planner will also, of course, make sure that the wedding vendor has that money. But again, you may be asking, okay, who do I tip? For instance, during your wedding, you'll have hair and makeup professionals that are, you're required to tip. My suggestion would be, remember that they work hard. They're doing their best. They have their team. The main hairdresser, she has her assistants. You can also be generous to the assistants also if you'd like to do that separate, or you'd like to include in that envelope to the main hairstylist, and then, just indicate on a little note that I'd like you to pass this on to your assistant. And so they know on that day that I will have to share that tip or part of that tip with the assistant. My suggestion is between 15 to 20% of their fee. So whatever is their fee, 15 to 20% of that fee. I miss you too, honey. I miss you too. I miss you too. Kisses, kisses, kisses to you. Thank you so much. So for your hair and makeup professional, the tip, which is not standard, but it's just a guideline, would be 15 to 20% of their fee. Hi, Mrs. Faber. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, here we go. Now, your caterer. Your caterer is also important because your caterer is like top of the list. That's the person who prepares your food. They make sure that it's super important, that it tastes good. The presentation is really good. So a service fee for them would be between, I would say again, 15 to 20% of the food bill. So 15 to 20% again for the caterer of the food bill. And remember, that's the person that's preparing your food. The presentation is important. It not only looks good, but it tastes good. So please do be quite generous to your caterer, 15 to 20% of their food bill. Now, also, what is most important, I'm saying to myself, and also I know it's important to you, is the wait staff. We tend to forget the wait staff. They're absolutely important to an event. They're part of the fabric of the event, putting a team together, whether they're directly from the banquet hall, or if you're at a venue where you had to bring in your own wait staff and you're hiring them from a third party. It's important that you focus on making sure that the wait staff is treated with respect, and also the wait staff is compensated. So service at your wedding, they ensure that your guests receive their meal timely. It's not cold, it's warm or hot. However, the guests, you decided that you will be presenting that to the guests. And they're efficient and they look good also. They're smart, and if they're wearing all black or black and white, whatever is their uniform for that evening. And I think if you'd like to be generous, and I suggest that sorry about that. Someone is actually coming in while I'm live. I do apologize. So I would suggest that your wait staff, the service should be $20 or more. I think that's a fair number for the wait staff. Now, if the venue mentions to you that it's not allowed for you to actually tip the wait staff directly, then I would suggest you ask, how can you include that in your overall bill so that the wait staff would receive that compensation. That's something to inquire about. Now, the other important person on your list that's part of your overall team or part of your wedding party and the whole celebration and the management would be the bartender. And of course you want to tip your bartender. Of course, he's mixing the drinks, he or she. They're mixing the drinks, they're serving, they're taking multiple orders, they're multitasking that day, that morning, that evening, depending on the time of your wedding. If you're having something in the morning, if you're doing your reception, it's in the evening. Whatever the time of day is your celebration, your bartender is also absolutely important. So tipping your bartender is absolutely important. They keep all the drinks flowing all night. How much for you to tip your bartender is still a little iffy. I would suggest, and what I've suggested to my clients, is between 10 to 15% of the total bar tab. So 10 to 15% of the total bar tab, that would be the appropriate appropriate compensation or fair compensation to your bartender. Moving right along. Now, the wedding planner, of course. I know lots of wedding planners. Hi, Jermaine Mullings. Thank you so much for joining. Everyone, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Today, our topic is, we're talking about exactly how much to tip your wedding vendors. And we're at, for those coming in a little bit later, we're at the wedding planner. We just finished the bartender's tip, which is between 10 to 15%. And we are at the wedding planners, and I know that the wedding planners are all ears. Oh, you used to be a bartender. That's amazing. Wonderful, wonderful. So can you share with me and share with us what is your suggestion as a former bartender would be an appropriate tip for you on a night when you're working? Please put it in the comments. I would really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I love this. Thank you for sharing space with me and contributing to this conversation, because that's what it is. It's a conversation. So for the wedding planners, I know a lot of the wedding planners are on and they're wondering, okay, let's just hear what she has to say about us, because we know she's a wedding planner also. Well, not to be biased, I will. 360, I most certainly will. Thank you so much. I will. I'll take a look at my emails. Not to worry. God bless you. Thank you so much. Okay, so the wedding planners. Your wedding planner may not expect a tip. So I just want to be clear about that. Much love to you too. God bless you. We don't expect a tip, but a gratuity to between 10 to 20% is certainly appreciated. If you feel we went above and beyond the call of service to you in managing, in planning and managing and executing your wedding. If your planner had an assistant or assistants on hand at the event, I would recommend tipping them between $50 and $100 each. And again, it's totally up to the couple. I've had family members within the wedding party or the bride's family or the groom's family would ask, you know, Veronica, assistant was with you, what is the recommended tip, or how much should I? And I would always suggest for every assistant between $50 to $100. For the wedding planner, again, based on service. If the service is great, above and beyond, 10 to 20%. If you feel the service was not that great, you're not obligated to tip your wedding planner, because of course you've already paid for that service, so you don't need to tip if the service, if what you would consider or grade the service to not to be above or beyond. So in all fairness to the planners, that would be my suggestion. Hi everybody. Hi, hello. God bless you. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you. Now we're moving on to the photographers and videographers. Of course, the photographers. If you're a photographer or a videographer and you own your business, no tip is necessary. So I just want to be clear. A tip is not necessary. If that's not the case for you, and you're a photographer or a videographer and you're working for a larger company, tipping that person that is on site that day runs between $100 to $200. It's a nice gesture. So for instance, if you're a photographer and you work for yourself, then again, it's based, you don't have to do it that day because you're waiting, you've already paid him for the service. And in all fairness, you're waiting to get your images, and then when you take a look at the images and the quality of your photos, you can decide that I would like to tip my photographer or videographer. But there's no need to do it on the day of, because again, they're already paid for a service. You're waiting to see basically the product that they've produced, and if you're satisfied with that product, then I would suggest that you do tip the photographer, and also if he or she has a second shooter, between $100 and $200 would be a nice gesture. Someone else said when I was the bartender, the bride and groom gave us $200 or more to share based on how many people are working. Absolutely, I totally agree with you. Island Dream Decor, that is perfect, and that's what I was saying. It's totally based on service, and it is based on what the couple feels is fair for the service provided. So you're spot on. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Executive Groom, thank you so much for joining. The next person that, or next vendor that is absolutely important or part of your planning or your event would be the officiant. A tip or donation is recommended. From experience, I know the priest or pastor or rabbi, whomever you'd like to call that officiant that's officiating at your event, I would suggest that you do tip. And if the officiant is affiliated with a house of worship, for instance, a church or a synagogue, you can determine what the tipping of that particular vendor for service, because that's what they are, a vendor for service, is. Sometimes you'll find in their contract they would actually stipulate what the amount is. Some of them don't. And again, if they don't, and he's affiliated with a house of worship, you give an additional donation to the house of worship. That means that the officiant is paid, and then you donate to the house of worship, and between $100 to $300 for that particular institution. And if it's a civil officiant, again, if it's not a pastor or a priest, and it's just an officiant, there's lots of officiants, I know a lot of officiants out there, then it goes from, a tip would be between $50 to $100. $50 to $100 for a tip for a civil officiant. If there's officiant for affiliated with a house of worship, your church, your synagogue, your parish, however you would determine what that institution is, you also you pay that officiant, and then you give an additional donation to the house of worship between $100 and $300. So I hope I'm very clear in the information. Like I said, you can look at the video again and go through it step by step. And I'm trying to be as precise as possible and try to include as much of the vendors as possible, in all fairness to everyone. Hi everybody, I'm waving. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you, thank you. Now moving along to the ceremony, your musicians, your band members, then I get to the DJ. Of course, I'm getting to the juicy stuff where, of course, we have music. Of course, there is the organist or the pianist. You've hired live musicians to perform during your ceremony or your reception. Each player, and I just want to be I just want to be clear about this. This is not a tip for everyone, not the band leader, and then, you know, you give him one amount and it's like, okay, out of his amount, he has to share it with the band. No. If you're giving him a tip, you give him a tip, and then each player should be tipped between $25 to $50. So the band member or the band leader is tipped because he's the leader of the band, and then each member that makes up the band gets between $25 and $50. That should be the standard tip for each member of the band. And remember, they're bringing you your music. Who wants to be at an event where the music is not really good? Even if, well, we want good food, of course, but I'm just saying, even if everything else is not going the way that it should, or you don't feel that, oh my God, the food is not that great, whatever. We all have, you know, sometimes where we're like, okay, I really don't like the food, but we enjoy the music. And if you're like myself, and you love to dance, then it's important that the music is hot, the music is really good, you're vibing, you're feeling it, so, and it makes the party lively along with the guests. So music is quite important to an event. So it's important. And again, ceremony musicians, with the wedding band members, you tip the band leader, and then each member or each player that is part of the band between $25 to $50. And again, you can parcel that into envelopes and present that to your planner, and then that would be done the night before or days before, and you have everyone's name written down or the name of the business, so the wedding planner know exactly to who gets what. Glory to God. Thank you. Okay, so now we're getting to the DJ. Now a tip is required for your DJ. And if you have a DJ like my DJ that I like to always talk about, he's absolutely amazing, which is DJ Delimit. Go check him out. He is on Instagram. That's DJ Delimit. D as in David. Limit. He's amazing. I've been working with him for years. He's one of the best in the industry, and you know, he comes highly recommended, not only from myself, but for other, you know, clients that he's played for, and I've worked with him for a long time, and he's absolutely amazing, quite a professional. And when you talk about knowing music, he knows his music, especially the boys, a Niger boy, so he knows his music. What can I say? Moving right along, I'm a little biased on him, so shout out to all the DJs. I don't want to put anyone down. If you're a DJ and you're on this live, shout out to you. You make the party pop, and we love working with you. Again, big up yourself. So the next person, like I said, the DJ. Your DJ not only plays the music, your DJ often serves as an MC for the event. If he has a dual role as a DJ and an MC, it's important. That's a big role for sure, because he's spinning the tunes and he's also monitoring the event and your itinerary for that day. So he's playing a dual role, and I would highly suggest that you tip in. So when you're deciding how much to tip your DJ, the rule of thumb is if he or she, again, because your DJ could be male or female, I would suggest again 10 to 15% of the total bill. So whatever the DJ, whatever was the official amount requested for service that you've paid, 10 to 15% of that would be an appropriate amount of compensation for your DJ. The next would be the attire and alterations tip recommended. Now, if you're working with a seamstress, a tailor, or an attire, anyone that does fitting, I would suggest your suit, anything you're getting altered. Again, I would suggest that you tip them between $20 and $40. That is fair for their service. Again, attire alterations, the tip are recommended. Again, there's no hard or fast rule. You can go higher. I wouldn't suggest lower because it starts at $20. But if you'd like to do more, what is recommended by myself would be between $20 and $40 for a job well done. And again, a job well done because it's service. They're doing alterations, and if they've done a great job, I would suggest that you show appreciation. The next category for tipping your wedding vendors, definitely transportation, of course. It doesn't include the fee, so I would suggest that you have something separate for them. I've done it before where the driver is there, you tip the driver, the company, especially most of the drivers, they work for a company. So if the couples hire a transportation company to shuttle themselves, they're members of their family, members of their extended family, sometimes they make arrangements for their guests. If your guests are out of town, oftentimes the gratuity is usually included in the fee, but not the tip. So again, the gratuity would be included in your overall bill, however, not the tip for the driver. So I would suggest between, again, 15 to 20% is appropriate for you to tip the driver. Are you transportation? Oh my gosh, tell me. Listen, fill me in. What do you think would be appropriate in your expertise? Island Dream Tour, what is appropriate for tip for transportation, because that's absolutely important. As I mentioned, you know, you guys shuttle guests, family members back and forth between the reception, between the hotel to the church, from the church to the park for photos, from the park for photos to the reception. Sometimes you come back later on for late night pickups. Tell me, $20, $20 and over. Wonderful. Good job. Awesome. So thank you so much. Again, Island Dream Tour, I thank you for contributing to this live. And he's absolutely right. $20 are up. You don't want to do anything below $20. You can go higher, but minimum you start at $20, or as I mentioned, between 15 and 20% is appropriate for tip and transportation. Your delivery staff also is important. Tip is required for them. It's important to show appreciation. I'm all for appreciation. If someone has done a really good job, gratitude is important. Show your appreciation to those who transport your items, your wedding related items to your venue. It's definitely a hard job. For instance, specifically your florists. Of course, they're creating your photos. I know, you know, someone will be like, well, you know, I'm paying for the photos. I get that. I do understand that. And you're paying for that service. They're providing floral arrangements for the table, for your wedding party. But it's also important, if they've done a wonderful job, you love the flowers, and you love the service they provided before and during the day of your wedding and the delivery, I would suggest floral arrangements, rentals for your cake, etc. You can give between, starting at, I would say, $5 all the way up to at least $20 per person. So totally. And I started $5 because I know a lot of times, in fairness to the florist, most times, and also the couple, most times you may have a really large wedding budget, and depending on, you know, your fee or your budget for the wedding, I would suggest for that day between $5 to $20 is totally important for tipping the driver or delivery for your floral arrangements. Okay, moving on. Other attendants, if you'd like to tip other attendants that are not mentioned, like when you're thinking of who to tip at the wedding, remember those who are assisting your guests. It's absolutely important to tip those. Again, you can start from $5 per guest for restroom, the coat attendants. Remember, if it's in the winter, they're taking your coat, or they're directing you to the restroom. It's important to tip them. You can start at $5. Again, you can cap it at $20, but $5 is a really great start to tip restroom and coat room attendants. For example, if you're hosting a wedding, I'll give an example really quickly. For instance, if you're hosting a wedding, 100 guests, and your restroom or your coat room attendant could receive up to $100, because that would be $1 per person. So it may seem like a large amount, but it's not really. 100 guests for $100 for a coat room attendant, it is really quite reasonable. And please remember, they're in service to you, they're in service to their guests, and it would be wonderful for you to show appreciation. The next vendor that we really don't talk a lot about, and I would really like to suggest that we start to really pay attention to them also, is the parking attendants. How about them? They do an amazing job directing traffic, not here, over here. They actually do their little pointing, their gestures, they hand gestures directing traffic. When it comes to tipping a parking attendant at your venue, you can estimate how many cars you're expecting. Probably about, I would suggest, if it's half the number of guests. So if you're having 100 guests, not everyone may drive, they may carpool. So I'd say you'll be about 50, which is half of your guest list. And tip the attendant, I would say between, you can start from $5 to all the way up to about $20. Guests should not be permitted to give cash tips to them, since you're covering the gratuity. So I just want to be clear about this. Your guests are not to tip the parking attendants unless they desire to. It shouldn't be required of them. However, as the couple, as the host of the event, that would be my suggestion for your parking attendants, because they really do an amazing job. And we would like to actually show them our gratitude or appreciation. Now, your florist and the baker, A tip, like I mentioned before, it's not really expected, but if they've done a great job, your cake looks amazing, your cake tastes amazing, I would suggest, again, it's based on service. So your florist and cake baker, or your baker, without saying cake baker, your baker or your designer as they're called now, you do not expect you. They don't expect or require you to tip them. However, as in my opinion, their delivery people setting up the cake or the floral arrangement, I would surely suggest that you consider that also. And if the cake tastes really, really good and the flowers, like I said, is really amazing, I would suggest that you consider tipping them for great service and doing a great job in preparing and also setting up your cake. Now, on destination vendors, it's a little bit tricky. So if you're hosting a destination wedding, for instance, in a foreign country, and I just want to cover the gamut really, really quickly, in a foreign country, know that the tipping customs may be a little bit different than your home country. In most countries, you should try to make an effort to tip in the local currency. If not in the local currency, sometimes it's possible that they may ask for, or they may say to you, if you're about to tip, they'll be like, do you have American or do you have Canadian? And if you choose to do so, then you can certainly tip in a currency that is not of that country. You don't have to, but if they ask and and you're willing to, hey, why not? But you can give them a tip in the local currency to make things easier for your vendors. Now, make sure to coordinate with the venue coordinator on that location or in that country to ensure that everything is going proper, the local traditions and customs are followed, and again, do check with the people on the ground in that locale or destination to make sure that you're not offending anyone and you're tipping within the confines or within the restrictions of that particular resort or venue that you're working with. So the coordinator would be your go-to person in that location, and he or she will guide you as to what is appropriate for tipping the vendors in a country other than your home country. And basically that's all I have for you today. So our topic today, just to recap very quickly, we were talking at vendors exactly how much to tip wedding vendors, and I've gone through the complete list. Most of all, what is written in stone, between 20 and 15 to 20%. Again, you can check online to see what is considered appropriate. If you're not in your home country, please do connect with the coordinator or the wedding planner in the destination you're getting married. Have a conversation with them. They'll be happy to provide you with some guidance as to what is appropriate to tip a wedding vendor that is outside of your home country. And so everyone would be happy. And again, you can tip in the local currency, or they may ask you, do you have Canadian or American? And if you choose to do so, it's not required. If you choose to do so and it's preferable for them and you do have it, then please do. Why not make everyone happy? You're happy, they're happy. Again, thank you so much, guys, for joining me on Wednesday. I hope you can use the tips and incorporate it into your planning, into dealing and honoring and appreciating the service provided by the wedding vendors. And your planner is a vendor also, and your venue is also a vendor also. And just make sure that you're respectful of their craft, their service, and they would actually provide that same respect and do their best to work on your behalf. Again, this video will be on the YouTube channel for the Wedding Planner Lifestyle Magazine show on YouTube. Please join us there. Subscribe, like, share. If you have suggestions, please make your suggestions known. I'm open to suggestions. We can always get better and grow and evolve. That's what I'm looking to do with this channel. And if you'd like to join me on a Wedding Wednesday and to have a discussion and present your service or to provide some tips to the audience, I would appreciate you joining me. Again, thank you so much for being with me. Have a great rest of the evening, and I'll catch you again next Wednesday around the same time. I usually go live between 5:30. People are getting home from work. Those are working outside their home. Those who are at home, I want to give you some time to, relax before you come live. Please join me. Please tell people, share the video, send me your tips, and if you have an email. And again, thank you, thank you, thank you. I pray that things are picking up in your business. You're doing well. You're starting to plan and get out again and do what you love best. And I'll catch you next Wednesday. Smooches. Bye.